Okay, so I want you to think of your concrete or your sidewalk as a huge canvas. A canvas that is ready for a wonderful temporary work of art. Your masterpiece. A gallery for people who walk by. And you don't have to do just one, you can do many if you choose to. So in order to get the best results, I have some things that you need to prepare. And I know I talked about it in the earlier video, but I just want to go over it again. So wherever you decide to do your work, I want you to clean it, which means sweep it, hose it down to make sure that there's not a lot of dirt or stones in the way. And then I want you to figure out what you're going to create. And you can, it can be a copy of an image that already exists, or it can be something of your own creation. Then I want you to draw your idea on a paper, figure out how you're going to lay it out. And then you are going to take that drawing, go outside, and with a white piece of chalk, you are going to sketch the outline of your idea on the cement or concrete. And if you find that you don't like something that you've drawn, you can always take a paintbrush, dip it in water, and erase that line, and it will dry. And then you can go back and start again, but you have to wait for it to dry. You can begin to add your first layer of chalk once you've drawn your idea. And once you've filled it in, you can then begin to paint water over it. And you're going to notice that the chalk will begin to turn into paint and it will move around. Once that layer dries, and believe me, if it's sunny out, it takes just minutes for this to dry. So it dries pretty quickly, or if it's windy, it will dry. Once it dries, then you can start your second layer on top of it. And you can add water on that layer, and you can begin to do your blending and your shading. And you can begin to add as many layers on top of this chalk, and you'll begin to see how it does mix like paint. And that is why the water really moves it to a different element. I mean, it just steps it up from just using dry chalk. Adding that water really changes the look to it. Some of the things I recommend before starting, these are just things, a lot of it for comfort, is wear pants, because if you have shorts and you accidentally kneel on a stone or something, it's very uncomfortable. So I really recommend wearing pants. Tie your hair back if you have long hair, because it's no fun having your hair fall on your face when you're trying to do artwork. And take an extra hand towel. I noticed that as I was leaning with my non-drawing hand, that after a while when you're leaning on like concrete, it begins to really hurt. So if you can have like a hand towel and fold it up and put your non-drawing hand on that, it will be a little softer to lean on, and it won't hurt your hand as much. And I like to use my cell phone or a camera to take a picture of my work while I'm doing it, because it allows me to see my work from a different view, and it kind of helps you see it from a different perspective, and you can figure out what you need to add or what you want to change. It's like when I've asked you to go to the bathroom and take your work and look in front of the mirror at Westside, or the mirror that I have over the sink. Looking at your work in a mirror or through a camera, it tells you so much. You see it differently than when you look at it through your own eyes. If you want your work to last a little longer, you can take an aerosol cheap hairspray like Aqua Net, and you can spray it a layer over your work. It will not last forever, but it will protect it from some of the elements like wind and dust or dirt that blows over it. Although if it's a heavy rain, it won't last. Have a damp towel so you can wipe your dirty fingers off, and that's it. So get your water, your brushes, your chalk, your towels, and your sketch. And let's get ready to create some chalk masterpieces. I can't wait. Okay, I'm gonna show you some techniques outside in a second. See ya, love you. Okay, so what I've done is I've laid out some simple examples for you that I'm going to work on so you can see some techniques. I have a simple strawberry, a heart, and I've written out the word love in different fonts because I want you to think about your lettering when you are doing your projects. If you are writing, some of you are going to have assignments where lettering is going to be required, and I want you to step it up with trying to find some exciting fonts in your work. So there's different ways to use chalk. You can use it on the corner and draw a thin line, or you can use it on its side where you will get much more coverage, okay? So there is just a simple single lined and a thicker shape. Watch what happens when I begin to paint over it. It begins to turn into a paint, okay? And it will look darker when it's wet, and then it will lighten up, okay? Let's try this. I will try a heart here, okay? Let's really fill it up. See, I'm getting a really nice layer of chalk on it, and you can get a little crazy. Look at I'm using on the side of the chalk. I'm going to add a little bit of orange to it. So don't be afraid to try different colors even when it's dry, because I'm going to show you how to blend those colors in a second, okay? So now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I am going to begin to go over it, and I'm going to pull the yellow or the orange yellow sideways into the red. Get water. There we go. And it works like paint. And then you get this wonderful smooth edge and middle. See how it looks much smoother? You can always add more water into the little crevices. And it dries pretty quickly. Look how fast that one's drying. So I'm gonna wait for those shapes to dry. And I want to start out with some lettering. So let's go down to the plain love, the plain single line love. I'm going to go over the letter shape with purple. And a nice thick line. Here's my big circle. Go around, get a nice layer on. The nice thing about using the water is you can really see the letters once they are painted in, and they last longer. Okay. So the nice thing about having the big driveway is you really need to work large because your chalk is large. If you're trying to do a small piece with this big chalk, look at how, it says love, but this is a pretty big piece of chalk. So work large, because if you're going too small, you're not going to be able to see what you wrote, okay? Walk away from your work of art from a distance and see if you can see it. And if you can't see it, that means that you need to work larger, okay? Now I'm gonna add some, I'm gonna add some red to it. All right, and let's add the water. Okay, here we go. here, paint around it. So cool. There we go. Paint. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. Get my circles first. Let's get my circles first. And I'm not very good at always getting the phone on what I'm showing the example of. I'm so used to teaching you in person. Okay, so you can see how the red is still on it. I'm going to go back and maybe pull it over and blend it in. What does blending mean? Blending means when you pull colors together to make them look like they are gradually one color. That's blending. And that's the beautiful part of this project, is that you're able to blend the colors together. So that's an example of how you can do letters, and I'll show you how you can finish them off. Okay, let's go back over to our blue. So it's beginning to dry pretty well here. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to go and outline the edges. And I'm gonna take this thick white, and I'm just doing a random shape because I just want you to see how the chalk works together. Okay, and maybe I'll take another orange, go around here. Okay, take my brush. Ooh, this likes to roll away. And I am going to paint down and around. So just like we outlined with Marty the marker, you can outline your chalk with different colors and move the chalk particles around. And here I go with my blending it in. Again. Pretty cool, huh? So maybe I'm not happy with that blue. Maybe I want that blue to be a bit darker. Don't be afraid. Go over it again with another layer, just like we do with our tempera paint and our acrylic. If we're not happy with how dark it is, then we go back over it. And nice another layer in there, and then go paint it. And every layer that you add, it's going to get darker. Okay? And then all of a sudden, that dusty look of the chalk when you just used it dry begins to disappear. Okay? So there's that one. Wait for that to dry. Oh, what's happening? So you can see how with my heart, did you see how when I blended the orange over, it began to look like it was gradually blending into the red. And here you begin to see the letters drying. So let's go over here to the strawberry and let's try this. Okay, so I'm not sure I have a lot of red left. Now I do have some of these smaller chalks that I've been using, and the problem is with the smaller chalks is that they do not, the cement and the asphalt really eat them up quickly. So that's why I like the thicker chalks. I like to actually use both because I think that it is a nice combination to have the thicker chalks, and these little thin pieces are great to do detail. But because I'm doing a strawberry and this is my brightest red, I am going to use this. And I really want a nice layer on here because I want this to be a nice red, luscious strawberry. So, all right. I'm gonna take a thicker paintbrush because these thick paintbrushes are great wall brushes to do bigger areas. So if you have some bigger paintbrushes available, please use those. And I'm moving the paint around, or the chalk around, and getting my nice shape of my strawberry. Go here, round that off. Ooh, that looks luscious. Okay, now I'm gonna go and get my greens, but I'm going to use several different colors of greens for my leaves. And I am going to outline in my darkest green. Really give it a nice dark edge. Real nice dark edge. And I want you to look how big the strawberry is compared to my hand. I mean, I've worked large, so come on, baby cakes. Get in there and go large. I don't want to see any small drawings. You know how I am about that. And I'm going to go in and color the inside of the leaves. Get a nice good layer of this light green in there. All the way down to the bottom. Okay. And you can already begin to see that my strawberry's gonna dry. You know it's dry because it becomes lighter in different areas. Okay, and you can see I have all different types of paintbrushes, just like we have in the classroom, because I like to use the different sizes to fit different shapes. So this is a smaller one, and I am gonna go around and blend my chalk together. Bring it all the way down. And here I go here. Jennifer, would you keep your camera on what you're doing? You are not very good at this. This is why I don't like to teach on YouTube. I really want to get back into the classroom with you guys, because this is not the way I like to teach, is it? I like to hear your comments. I like to tell you, hit the deck, let's clean the floor up. I like to say, put the caps on Marty the marker. And I miss saying all those crazy things, don't I? And I think you miss hearing me. So here we have the leaves drying and the strawberries drying. So let's go back over here. I know we're moving around all over the driveway today, aren't we? So let's go back over to the love, which is dry, except for some of the top parts. And I am going to begin to add some designs in it. So now I am going to add some squiggles into maybe a line around here, maybe a line in here, and maybe some squiggles down here, a line, and maybe a snail shape here. And that is something that you can do. You don't always have to use the water on everything. If you want to leave some of your dry chalk on top of what you've already painted, go ahead and do that. What happens if we go over it? Hold on. Look at our strawberry. It's really drying quickly, isn't it? Look at that, how fast that dried. Okay, so I'll take my brush and let's see what happens. Let's go around, see what happens to that orange. You can see it kind of blending in. And so the beauty about this is that you can keep adding, and maybe you don't like the orange. You can go back over with purple and try it again. Okay, so here is my, here it is, the heart that I started. So maybe I want to add some purple to it. Go around. Ooh, that looks pretty, doesn't it? Ooh, I like that. That's very pretty. Very pretty. Ooh, loving that. Okay, let's take my brush. We'll paint around. Paint around. We'll wait for that to dry. That's still wet. But let's go back over to, I know we're moving around, aren't we? We are moving around all over the place today. Get over here, Chalk. What are you doing? Okay. So, yesterday when I was doing all my examples, I really ran out of my white paint, my white chalk. So I have to use a kind of a color that's close to white. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to show those little seeds in the strawberry. But you know what? Hold on a second. I wanted to add some other colors to the strawberry. So I'm going to add a little bit of this as if it's shiny on one side. Okay. And a really heavy layer of this to make it look like it has sun shining on it. Okay. Nice layer. Okay, let's get my water. I'm gonna take a thicker brush to blend it. And blend, 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 blend. Move it over, Chucky. Blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it. Pull it over. And hopefully that will show a lighter shade when it's dry. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might be too dark. And then as these dry, I'm going to go back and I'll start the dry spots, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to show the middle part of the leaf and take my thin brush, go around it, show the middle, maybe use some, and the color will carry. So all of a sudden I have some darker edges. Oh, that's the wrong green. Where's my dark green? Where'd it go? Am I losing my mind? Maybe that is the dark green. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Okay. Go down the middle and go around the edges again. All right. And you begin to see the dark edges. And that's drying. And what I would do for the seeds, and I really don't have a black chalk, but you can see that I would begin adding the little strawberry seeds in there, but I'm really not happy with one color. So I do have, what is this? Oh, that's a white. Let's see if I've got any gray in here. Oh, I've got a big black one, but this black really isn't black. It turns out to be kind of a grayish color. So if you have charcoal at home, charcoal for a charcoal grill, that works great. It works great with sidewalk chalk. So you can use charcoal too. You can begin to see the seeds in the watermelon. And okay, let's move back over here. And here we go. You can see how the heart is drying. And this is just I really wanted to show you what you can do with abstract forms. Once they're painted, then you can go back over and begin to do some detail work with it. There's that. And maybe you want to do some designs inside. Maybe you want to paint a large piece, a section of your driveway, and then you could write your word inside of it or your message. You could actually make your canvas, and then when it's dry, if you have a quote you want to write, then you could write your quote. I know this is wet, but I'll go over it just to show you an idea. Here's love. That seems to be my word of the day. And I would, go over that clearly again and again. Okay? So here you go. It shows you how you're blending, how you're doing letters, your fonts. Over here, I want to show you, here's an abstract work that we started, but it's not finished. We have our koi fish. You can see the blending of the letters. And then down here, you can see how I wrote Roman 2020 St. John's, and that's to celebrate his graduation. And then we have our walk down the driveway. or the sidewalk in front of my house. Twirl around. 10 jumping jacks. 10 push-ups. Dance like no one's looking. Laugh. Oh, who is that? Be happy. Actually, one of the kids did that. And art with Jennifer. Messages. If your class is doing messages, please notice how I decorated each of the different squares, not with just the letters, and we also use different fonts and different designs. So, I hope that all of you have a ton of fun doing this. Take pictures. I can't wait to see your artwork. So what I'm doing right now is I am creating a koi pond, and you are looking at a bird's eye view of the koi fish swimming in the rock pond. So right now I'm taking the rocks and I am, taking a white circle and I'm filling it in with quite a nice layer of dust, chalk dust. And then I'm adding just a tint of blue to one side. And then taking my wet brush, and I like to pull the white first and then bring it around and kind of mix it up. And the dust will blow away once the wind starts. So you can see how I'm beginning to make my rocks. Now, once it's wet, you can't really put the chalk over the wet part because it doesn't really stick. So you want to get your layers of dust on before you add the water.
Oh my goodness, there's koi fish swimming in my driveway. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so following this video, you can then go and look up your project on YouTube, because I have different ones for the grade levels, and hopefully you've learned enough from this video to start your creation. So please take pictures of everything that you do and send them to me either through the Westside Montessori Facebook page or email them to me. I really am looking forward to the work. Have a good day, and I miss you.